Bonjour. In this video, I will try to explore the cases when l'accord du participe passé happens. L'accord means agreement. When the past participle agrees in number and gender with the subject, we see an E or ES or just an S at the end of the past participle. That is called accord du participe passé or agreement of past participle. So, the past participle is following the number and gender of the subject. If the subject is feminine singular, past participle will take an E. If the subject is feminine plural, the past participle will take an E for feminine and an S for plural. When the subject is masculine plural, the past participle will take an S at the end. We will soon learn when this accord du participe passé happens, but let's make this very clear first. Do you know the accord de l'adjectif or agreement of adjectives in French? For example, il est beau, elle est belle, ils sont beaux, elles sont belles. Look at the adjective beau. It is changing with the number and gender of the subject. I made a small illustration on the accord de l'adjectif in my channel. You may check that out from the I button on the top right corner of the screen or from the description below. So, adjectives follow the number and gender of the subject that it qualifies. Past participles are also one kind of adjectives. We call the participles adjectival verbs or verbal adjectives. So participles behave like adjectives. They also try to match with the subject in number and gender. Let's now learn in general when accord happens with past participles in French. Être plus participe passé. Accord happens with être plus participe passé structure in any temps composé or composed tense. What is a temps composé or a composed tense? Any tense which comes with avoir / être plus participe passé format is called a composed tense, such as passé composé, plus que parfait, futur antérieur, etc. And when être plus participe passé happens? Firstly, when there is a motion verb or verb du mouvement. For example, descendre, rester, monter, sortir, venir, aller, naître, devenir, entrer, rentrer, tomber, revenir, arriver, mourir et son synonyme décéder, partir. You can remember these verbs with one very popular way, Dr. and Mrs. P. Van der Tramp. All the letters are indicating one motion verb. Elle est allée. Here, the past participle aller took an E because elles is feminine singular. Elles sont parties. Parties took an ES because the subject is feminine plural. Nous sommes venus. Venu took an S because no is considered as masculine plural subject in this sentence. If no represents feminine plural, we will add ES with venu. This is how with any motion verb or their derivatives we do accord in any composed tense. Exception. When using some of the motion verbs as a transitive verb, there will be no accord with the past participle. For example, elle est sortie de la chambre. In this sentence, sortir is intransitive. That is to say, a verb with no direct object. In this sentence, the subject herself is coming out of the bedroom. But elle a sorti son couteau. She took out her knife. In this sentence, sortir is a transitive verb. That is, a verb that has a direct object. The subject herself is not coming out, but she is taking out something. Here, there will be no accord, and rather we will conjugate it with avoir instead of être. This happens with sortir, monter, entrer, etc. There is no accord when a motion verb works like a transitive verb, that is, a verb that has a direct object. Secondly, when there is a reflexive verb or verb pronominal which comes with se in front of it, for example, se promener, se lever, se laver, s'habiller, etc., the past participle will have accord. For example, elles se sont promenées. Here, elle is feminine plural subject. So, promener past participle took es at the end. Ils se sont levés. Here, the subject is masculine plural. So, only an s is added to the past participle. This is how, whenever there is a pronominal verb conjugated in a composed tense, we will have to do accord or agreement of the past participle. I will show some very interesting exceptional cases which I found while researching for this video. These exceptional cases can be skipped by the beginners, but I hope B1 and B2 level language learners will find these interesting. Exceptions. A. S'arroger verb is an exceptional verb. Elles se sont arrogées des droits. In this sentence, there is no accord, although s'arroger is a pronominal verb. B. There is no accord of participe passé when the pronominal verb is followed by a COD or direct object. So, it's the same as a transitive verb, a verb that has a direct object. For example, elles se sont demandées d'où cet homme est venu. Elle s'est lavé les mains. There is no accord with past participles se demander and with se laver because they both have a direct object. C. There are some pronominal verbs which can never have a direct object. Even if they are converted to a base verb, they can never have a direct object. For example, se nuire, se succéder, se convenir, se mentir, se nuire, se parler, se plaire, se complaire, se déplaire, se ressembler, se rire, comme se sourire, se succéder, se suffire, se survivre. Les événements se sont succédés. In this sentence, succéder doesn't have an accord. D. When se laisser and se faire are followed by an infinitive verb. Elles se sont fait faire une piqûre. Elle s'est laissé faire. Ils se sont laissés emporter par la colère. In all these three sentences, there is no accord with se laisser and se faire because they all are followed by an infinitive, such as faire on the first and the second sentence, emporter on the third sentence. I wanted to cover a little bit in depth on this topic so that this video can help any beginner as well as advanced French language learners. I would request you to please share your comments under my video and subscribe to French with Basu. That will encourage me to keep making more and more content in future. Thirdly, in a passive structure, we always use être plus participe passé. And wherever there is être plus participe passé, we do accord. Les fleurs sont données. Here, obviously, fleur is a feminine plural word. And donner, past participle, has taken an ES at the end. So, let's summarize. When does accord happen with être plus participe passé? Firstly, with motion verbs. Secondly, with pronominal verbs. And thirdly, with passive structure. And also, we have seen all the exceptions. Number 2. Now let's move on to avoir plus participe passé. When we conjugate with avoir, there is no accord with the past participle. For example, elle avait trouvé son portable. No accord with trouvé. Those who learned any composed tense such as passé composé, they know already that there is usually no accord with the past participle when we have avoir plus participe passé structure. No, there is accord with avoir plus participe passé. When does accord happen with avoir? When a direct object precedes a verb conjugated in a composed tense, there is an accord with the past participle. I am going to illustrate it. Example. J'ai lu les livres. Which part is the direct object? Les livres is the direct object. An object that doesn't start with preposition a or any derivative such as o, a la, al apostrophe o is called a direct object or complément d'objet direct or COD. Now, in the next sentence, je les ai lus, les is representing the direct object, les livres. So, the direct object, les livres, came before the verb lire, which is conjugated in a composed tense. Maybe les livres came in form of a direct object pronoun, but however, the direct object came before the verb conjugated in a composed tense. Therefore, accord happened. Voici les livres que j'avais lus. Past participle of lire verb. Lu has taken an accord at the end because les livres is the direct object or COD of lire verb and the COD has come before the verb. The verb is conjugated in a composed tense. Therefore, there is an accord with the past participle. Les livres is masculine plural, so we added an S with the past participle. Quelle comédie a-t-il lu? In this sentence, lire verb has a direct object and that is comédie, which came before the verb and the verb is in the composed tense. Therefore, the accord happened. That is, lu took an E at the end because comédie is feminine singular noun. I found this case from an authentic website. Here's the example. With the adverbial phrase or locution adverbiale combien de, the past participle agrees with the complement of the adverb if the complement is placed before the verb. Combien de fautes as-tu fait? Past participle fait has taken an ES at the end because the direct object faute came before the verb conjugated in a composed tense. Le participe passé fait s'accorde au féminin pluriel If we write the same sentence in this following manner, the past participle will not have the accord. Why? Simple, because the COD came after the verb conjugated in a composed tense. It doesn't match all the criteria of this special accord. Therefore, there is no accord in this sentence. Those three first sentences which I found from Le Cours de langue et de civilisation française by G. Moget, and the fourth from an authentic website are four key examples which I always teach to my students. These four examples will help you to remember exactly when this special accord happens with avoir plus participe passé structure. See, in the first sentence, direct object pronoun came before the verb. The second sentence is a complex sentence with que relative pronoun. Observe, whenever there is the relative pronoun que in a sentence and there is a verb in composed tense after it, there might be a direct object before que. So, whenever you see something like this structure of a sentence, you have to think if all criteria are matching for the accord. In the third sentence, it is an interrogative sentence structure starting with quel. So, in this kind of structure also, there is possibility of accord with the past participle. So, whenever you see any of these three sentence formats, think if all criteria are matching for an accord, then do the accord if applicable. I hope I made it very clear. When an accord happens with avoir plus participe passé structure. In the fourth sentence, the interrogative sentence is starting with combien de. Here, there is also a possibility of spatial accord with avoir. When you see this kind of a sentence, observe if all the criteria are matching and do the accord if needed. If my content is helpful or if you have any recommendation of a topic, please let me know in the comments. Of course, there can be exceptions to these rules. These exceptional cases might not interest the total beginners, but it surely will be interesting to the B1 and B2 level of French language learners. First exception. As you have already seen in this video, when I was talking about accord in être plus participe passé context, I showed some verbs which can never have a direct object. They can never be transitive. Their participe passé will never take the accord. Also, these verbs have no feminine or plural forms. So their participe passé can never have an accord. Accéder, agir, appartenu, briller, cesser, daigner, douter, exister, hésiter, insister, nuire, paru, participer, plus, ressembler, sembler, succéder, transiger, voyager, etc. As for régner and durer verbs, they are intransitive, don't have a direct object. So, their past participles will not take an accord. Thirdly, there are some impersonal verbs, past participles, where we don't have accord. These are fallu, neiger, plu, tenez, vanter, etc. Fourthly, there is no accord with the past participles of these following verbs: mesurer, courir, peser, valoir, coûter, vivre, and marcher. When the object placed before these verbs indicate a price, a value, a duration, or a rate. In fact, in these cases, the complément will not be the COD, but they will be complément circonstanciel de mesure. For example, les 3 heures qu'a duré la conférence étaient ennuyeuses. Here, durer verb has no accord with its past participle because 3 heures indicates duration. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have liked, please share the video with your friends and share your comments under the video. Do not forget to subscribe to French with Basu. Until next time, au revoir.